Hi, I'm Paige Towie, and I teach first grade in Colwich, Kansas at a K-8 public school. And I am in the Advanced Curriculum Design class at Friends University, where I'm pursuing a master's in education in teaching and learning. So I did my unit over plants. So it's a science unit, and it addresses the McREL standard, Standard 6, understands relationships among organisms and their physical environments. And the subpoint is that students know that plants and animals need certain resources for food and for energy and growth, such as food, water, light, and air. And the Common Core standards, or the next generation science standards that it meets, are that we use materials, first grade life science 1.1 and point A, use materials to design a solution to a human problem by mimicking how plants and/or animals use their external parts to help them survive, grow, and meet their needs. And that understanding structure and function, all organisms have external parts, and plants also have different parts, roots, stems, leaves, flowers, and fruits that help them survive and grow. So this unit is designed to last over a week, and I have every day learning something new about plants, but then tying it all back together because I know the attention span of my kiddos is not super long and repetition is their friend. So, excuse me, it's over plants, and then I've mainly focused on the needs of a plant, the life cycle of a plant, and the parts of a plant. Unit out have four: to identify and locate the parts of a plant, the roots, the stem, the leaves, and the flower. The second one is that students will be able to recall what plants need to survive and grow. The third one is that students will experience and engage in project-based learning and apply their plant knowledge in this project. And the fourth one is that students will be able to identify and describe the life cycle of a plant. And so at the end of this unit, my students will have been exposed to and experienced a wide range of plant knowledge. Throughout this school year, my students have learned about the needs of animals and the life cycles of caterpillars and butterflies, but they have not had much exposure to plant knowledge up until the start of this unit. This unit will encompass the plant introduction, basic knowledge about what a plant is, plant needs, the life cycle of a plant, the parts of a plant, and how plants help us and the world around us. As a result of the completion of this unit, my students will be able to take care of their own plants and do its part as it goes through. My students will also be able to identify plants in the world around them and how the plants in the world help us. My students will be able to apply their newly learned information into their daily lives, and will also be able to analyze the life cycle of a plant based off of our class discussions. So those are the unit summary and outcomes. And like I said, it's a 5-day unit, so on the first day, we just talk about plants and what are plants and the plants around us, because kids tend to think of plants just as, but about trees, it's the leaves on the trees, it's the flowers, it's the grass, it's fruits and vegetables. They don't usually identify the food aspect of plants as being plants, and that adds a whole nother category of how plants help us and how they're important to our lives. So the first topic on day 1 of the unit is just introducing the wide range of plants and helping them identify them in the world around us. And then we also talk about the parts of a plant. So in my unit, every single day the kids get a little paper foldable book, which they love, and it has pictures and text with it. So how I start each lesson of this unit is with a YouTube video. And so the first day, the YouTube video is actually a little cartoon, and it's a video of a hippo who plants what she thinks are rocks, but then after something starts to grow, she knows that these are seeds, and that's how plants start, and then the seeds grow, and with more water they turn into flowers. And so she sees the process of a plant from start to finish. So we talk about the parts of a plant through that video. That kind of gets us rolling, and then the kids get their foldable books, and with foldable books they read them to a partner, and then with their partner they put the book together, so they have to fold it, and then they get to color it. And when we did this unit, the kids loved keeping them in their pencil boxes all week and referring back to them and reading them to new partners, so they actually had a lot of fun with these books. So they get a foldable book. After we watch the video, I always do a little read out what we're going to do, and then in their partners, they do a plant opinion and fact sorting activity, because that's a standard that we've been working on in first grade, is identifying facts and opinions. And so this ties in with their plant part knowledge that they just learned that day, and hammering in on the facts and opinions skill as well. So that's day one. The second day we talk about the importance of plants. So there's a plants write or draw activity sheet, which just helps strengthen their ELA skills. There's 4 boxes, and on the first one it's a picture of a plant and they have to write a sentence about it. And then on the second one it's a sentence about a plant and they have to draw a picture corresponding to it. So that's the first station. And then they talk about how plants help us as an activity sheet, where they see a picture and answer the questions about how plants help us. The vegetables, the grass around us, and how like plants give off oxygen and how we need oxygen. My kids really liked learning about that with birthday recently, and how they're and realize that. And then I also brought in a bunch of different plants and flowers, and the kids got to water them with spray bottles, and they talked about how there's a certain amount to give them. We have to give them enough to where it reaches down to the roots, but we don't want to drown them. And so we focus on all of that, the importance of plants in our lives. And then, like day one, we start with a video that talks about that and how they're important in our world. Third, we talk about plant needs. And so we do the hoops and we do a life-size Venn diagram, and we compare our needs to the needs of a plant, how we're similar and how we're different. And my kids have loved working with Venn diagrams this year, so bringing that into this unit was a lot of fun for them. Then we have the flip book, the read aloud foldable book again that they get to do. And then there's the plant needs cut and pasting sorting activity. And I have a lot of kids that have difficulty with cutting on straight lines and not just mutilating boxes they have to cut. The better they get with that, the better. And then there's another video that plant needs, which this one's really fun, and the kids started to sing along by the end of it. So I'm going to play a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. So sorry, it's really bright and you can't see the picture, but you get the gist of it. It's a familiar tune and talks about the needs of a plant. The kids eventually start singing along with it, and it repeats, and they loved it, and they were singing it throughout the day. So I think it's really fun to integrate technology into it, connect it with something, especially that they have prior knowledge with, like that tune, and then introduce new information with it so it sticks and they have fun with it. So that was Dave. Talk about the life cycle. So we start with another video. They have a read aloud that they get to do with their partner. And then we create a class chart with poster paper and markers talking about the life cycle. And like I said in the beginning of this video, we've talked a lot about the life cycle of a caterpillar and a butterfly. We had a whole reading unit over it, and so the kids are really familiar with the arrows and how they flow. And we talked about the life cycle of humans and how we follow the same sort of cycle. And so completing that chart was total activation of prior knowledge for my kiddos. And then they get a blank sheet of paper, and in their small groups they get to draw or create with construction paper a bunch of different like pipe cleaners and yarn and buttons, and they got to construct the plant life cycle from scratch. And then on the last day we talk about plants in our community. So we take a nature walk around the school and we identify the plants around our school. And my school is in a rural community, so there's lots of crops around us, especially at this time of year. So there's wheat crops, there's soybean crops, there's cornfields nearby, and that's but just around have grass and lots of different kinds of trees and flowers and a garden. So the kids get to see all kinds of different plant growth just around our school, which is awesome. And we spend a little bit of time researching Kansas crops and plants, especially since they're right next to our school, but seeing like we did this for Kansas Day too, so they really enjoy getting to revisit that. And then the last thing we do is each kid gets to plant their own grass seed. And so I take a picture of them, and it looks like they make a crazy face, like the the grass seed that we plant is their hair, and so they get to paste that picture in front of a cup. We go through the whole thing where what do we need? We need soil, and so we put the soil in the cup, and then we plant the grass seed, and then we water it. And then throughout the whole next week, we take a little field trip down to the window room, and we water our plants, and we observe how they've been growing, and the kids loved seeing how the grass came up and it looked like their hair. And so I'm going to show you this poster I made, but it's going to be kind of hard to see. But this is my kiddos. Yeah, you can't really, kind of can, holding their plant cups, showing some of the growth of their hair or the grass seed. And so this is a really cool project-based learning way to show the kids how you can do it in real life, and showing the needs of a plant and the life cycle of a plant. Go, I have a video for. And they really enjoyed that, and they got to water them at home for a couple weeks and then take them home at the end of our unit. And one of my students lives in my neighborhood, and he has shown me his plant as it has grown, and he has really liked seeing the growth of the grass and talking about how it's gotten even longer. He had to give himself a haircut the other day. So, yeah, that's my kit. A lot of fun doing it. It was very interactive and hands-on, and it was really good to do at this time of year when the kids are getting kind of squirrely, and they had a lot of fun doing it. And sorry for that interruption. This is my brother's room, and he didn't know I was in here making this video, so sorry for the excitement. But yeah, my first graders loved this unit. I had a lot of fun making it for them, and I was challenged to go outside of my comfort zone and incorporate more hands-on learning and more centers, and it was more chaotic than just me talking and them doing, but they learned a lot more. It was a lot more fun, and we got a lot more accomplished. So I have really enjoyed making this unit. Thanks for watching.